Welcome to the WRAL Daily Download. I'm Jack Hagel. North Carolina Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson filed a defamation lawsuit against CNN on Tuesday. It's related to a report by the network that alleged Robinson made racist and sexually explicit comments on a pornographic website more than a decade ago. Robinson has denied the allegations. Now he's seeking $50 million, saying the report damaged his reputation and caused him anxiety and distress. WRAL state government reporter Will Doran is here with takeaways on the case. Will, good to see you again.
You too.
All right, hit us with a quick recap of this story so far. What did CNN report? What has Robinson said about the reporting? And what has the fallout been?
Yes, so the CNN article was pretty wide-ranging, but it really revolves around a website called Nude Africa, which was a pornographic website in which someone using this username, Mini Soldier, made a whole lot of comments about sexually explicit materials, pro-Hitler commentary, calling himself a black Nazi, and the specific way that that username was spelled was also Mark Robinson's Twitter handle before he changed it to being his name when he sort of entered politics. And CNN said that it had also been associated with a number of other social media profiles that used Mark Robinson's name, used his photograph, had other biographical details pointing to the fact that it might be him. So they said, it looks like these porn site comments were his as well. And after that came out, Robinson has denied this from the start. Even before the CNN article posted, he put a video out saying, CNN is about to post this article and it's all false. He has called it salacious tabloid lies. But there has been a growing sense from even fellow Republicans that maybe there is something to this. We've seen multiple people from his staff resign, both his campaign staff and his staff in the office of the lieutenant governor resigned in the wake of this report. Fellow Republicans have called on him to put forth a stronger denial with more evidence of what he claims were the falsehoods in this CNN story. And so that was, the start of what we saw today.
That's right. So on Tuesday, Robinson announces this lawsuit. What is he alleging in the lawsuit? Maybe what are some of the things that his investigation has found sort of detailed in that lawsuit? What did you find out?
Yes, so his lawsuit still does not contain a lot of the specific evidence to make the grounds for a defamation lawsuit, which defamation, for people who aren't familiar, requires it requires several factors, but two of the key ones are that whatever was said has to be false and it had to have been done with malicious intent. And so there could still be a lot of, legal battles to try to prove all of that. But what Robinson said is, look, CNN either knew or should have known that essentially it's possible that he was hacked by someone who got into his email address to set up this account impersonating him. He did not offer any theories, at least in this initial filing, as to who would have done that or what their motivations would have been, especially since, as you said, this was years and years ago, well before he was ever a public figure. So he didn't get into that. That could be something that, future legal filings explore, but we don't really have a theory of the case as to, why someone impersonated him. But he did have a lot of theories for why CNN wrote this article. He said that CNN is a leftist news site that wanted to harm his political career because he connects with voters in ways that scares CNN. And so that was, in his words, the reason why they put out this report, in obviously the heat of the governor's race here.
What does CNN have to say about these allegations?
They declined to comment, actually, on this lawsuit. Obviously, in the past, they have stood by the details that were in it. They're, not responding right now. They will, be responding in some sort of legal filing once they're served with it. We're recording this on Tuesday, and as far as we're aware, at this point, they have not yet been served.
Now, Robinson is the Republican nominee for governor. The election is less than a month away. Is there any chance we'll have any kind of resolution in this case by then?
Well, it's always possible, but that's pretty unlikely in these sorts of cases. These tend to drag on for a while. Obviously the CNN article came out about a month ago, and, we're only just now seeing the lawsuit. It took that long just to put this lawsuit together. So, of course, any, formal resolution is probably unlikely to happen in time for the election.
Well, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll dig deeper into the Robinson lawsuit. Stick around. Welcome back to the WRAL Daily Download. We're talking with WRAL State Government reporter Will Doran about Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson's lawsuit against CNN. Will, this is really two cases in one. Robinson is also suing a guy named Louis Money. What's his story?
Yeah, Louis Money is this character from Greensboro who first popped up about a month ago in a story, not from CNN, but from The Assembly, which is a news magazine here in North Carolina. And he's a former Greensboro area adult video store worker who knows Mark Robinson. They both agree that they know each other, that they had been acquaintances in the past, but their stories about exactly how they know each other definitely diverge.
Why is Robinson going after him?
So the Assembly had reported citing Money and several other people who I guess were in the Greensboro area adult video circles of the early 2000s as saying that Robinson was a regular at a couple of stores in the area, that he would come in almost every day to watch videos, to buy videos, and that, just in general kind of hang out with this crowd who tended to gather in these places. And Robinson says that is false. He says that he has previously, and his campaign has described Money's story as being ridiculous, saying that the only way that Robinson ever knew this guy was that he would come into the Papa John's where Mark Robinson used to work. Now, in this lawsuit, we heard a different story from that explanation of his campaign. Even though his campaign had previously said they only knew each other because this guy came to the Papa John's, the lawsuit filed Tuesday does acknowledge that actually Robinson did go to the video store where he worked, but it says still his description isn't quite accurate. He wasn't there as frequently as Money said. He wasn't buying bootlegged videos that Money said that he used to sell because they were too explicit to be sold regularly. Robinson said that he wasn't renting videos from the store, and that other details of what Money had said were false.
And what does Money have to say?
Money said that he stands by everything. We first talked to him several weeks ago after that Assembly came out. And he said at the time, he acknowledged that part of the reason why he was doing this was he wanted to raise some awareness about this band that he has. And he made a whole music video called The Lieutenant Governor Owes Me Money. And so he was open that, part of this was a push by him to make some money and get some fame. But he said that doesn't matter. It's all true. And talked to him after this lawsuit came out. And he says he still stands by everything. It's still all true. And he added that before this lawsuit, neither Robinson nor anyone from his campaign had ever reached out to him to ask him to stop saying these things. He added that he wouldn't have stopped anyways because, again, he stands by the truth of it.
His truth.
His truth.
Now, why would Robinson go after both Money, just an individual in Greensboro, and then CNN, this global news organization, in the same case?
Yeah, the CNN article did not quote Louis Money. He was only quoted in the Assembly article, which Robinson is not suing the Assembly as part of this lawsuit. But he says that these stories that came out are basically suspiciously timed close to one another to indicate that there's maybe some sort of broader strategy out there to ruin his political career, to work through various sources to bring him down. And again, there's no evidence offered specifically to back up those theories in his lawsuit, but that, based on the way that the lawsuit is set up and some of the claims it does make, that appears to be sort of a broad theory of the case.
This lawsuit is interesting in part because of what it doesn't ask for and who it doesn't sue. What did you notice?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. Even though the lawsuit claims that the Assembly's reporting was false, it doesn't sue them for defamation. And, we talked to the founder of the Assembly who said that Robinson's campaign has not asked them to retract their article that they're claiming is false, even though Robinson's attorney did say that they have reached out to CNN to ask them to retract their article. So that was a notable detail here. The lawsuit is also, while it asks for money, cash from both Mr. Money and from CNN, it's not asking for any sort of injunction to stop them from speaking about this, to stop them from airing news clips about this, to force them to, take down any articles, anything like that, which are all things that you could ask for, but it's not. It also, the lawsuit does not name Josh Stein, Robinson's Democratic challenger, who has frequently repeated, the CNN article saying, CNN found this. I saw Josh Stein on Monday, and he repeated some of the same claims from the CNN article. And, he's not named in this lawsuit either.
Now, you've covered a lot of court cases over the years. Where do you see this one headed?
Yeah, it's always a murky crystal ball when you're dealing with litigation. But if both Robinson and CNN decide to dig in their heels on this, it's going to be something that's measured in years, not months. Obviously, Robinson could dismiss the lawsuit himself. CNN or Money could decide to settle it out of court to just get it over with. A judge could throw it out. But if none of that happens and everyone involved decides that they want to fight over this, this is something that we could still be talking about many years from now.
Going to be an interesting few weeks and potentially years. Thanks, Will.
Thank you.
That's WRAL state government reporter Will Doran for his coverage of the governor's race and Mark Robinson's lawsuit. Go to the NC Capital section of WRAL.com. I'm Jack Hagel. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for listening to the WRAL Daily Download and for making us part of your morning routine. Another great way to get WRAL news is the Morning Briefing newsletter. It's a daily email with Triangle news, events, and headlines to help you get ready for the day. Sign up at WRAL.com/newsletter.